Hey there, welcome to Mark in the Park, the podcast. I'm your host, Mark Milow, speaker, storyteller, and healthcare advocate. And this is the place for personal reflections, stories about mindset, hobbies, and purpose. And a reminder that life doesn't stop at a diagnosis. In fact, often the real journey begins after. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Mark in the Park podcast. And as you can tell, I am here with some friends, and I'm excited and I'm pumped. And this is a cool thing because this is episode 1 of season 2 of the Mark in the Park podcast. And I've held up something special for this. Yes, we're doing a round of applause, yay! And with that, I want to introduce my guest today. This is a very special episode because what you see here is a collection of people that just got back from Washington, D.C. We were able to represent the Parkinson's community on Capitol Hill. We had a chance to talk both our House and our Senate representatives and talk about the Parkinson's Policy Forum questions, and we're going to get into that. So this is totally exciting because the people you see in front of me are people that I love and respect. They're fantastic, and everybody's voice is important. And we're going to talk about that, what our voices did in the Washington Capitol. So I'm just going to go around and we're going to do a little introduction first. And I'll start with Tracy because Tracy, you were a guest on my podcast in season 1, and so was George, but you were earlier. So I'm going to go to Tracy. Tracy, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
I'd be happy to, but you guys have to keep me on mark, okay? Because remember, I have Parkinson's, and I might forget our order. So, hi everyone. My name is Tracy. I'm known as Snarky Mommy on most social medias of some flavor or another. And if you know me, you understand and know the story behind why my name is Snarky. I'm from Colorado, and particularly, I'm in northern Colorado. This was my first trip to DC, and I learned a lot. What else was I supposed to say, Mark? I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's okay. So, I think you covered just about everything, but I will look at my notes because that's me because I look at notes too.
I'm so sorry.
You got your social media handle in there, your connection to PD, what state you're from, and the Parkinson's Policy Forum. How many have you attended?
One. This is my first one. My
Awesome.
first one, and my brain is like stuffed and exploding all at the same time.
Right. Gotcha. I totally understand that. Okay, so let's go on. Number 2, we're going to go to, and I'm going to go in a counterclockwise rotation to Darren on bottom of my screen. Darren, how about a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name's Darren Wright, and my social media handle is Punk Rock Parkinson's, at Punk Rock Parkinson's. It's all one word. And I'm more heavily present on TikTok. I do some on Facebook, and then of course Instagram, and then I had my LinkedIn I have, but it's under my name, which you can see on the screen. And I have Parkinson's disease. I'm coming up on my 11-year Parkiversary, and April 22nd. And I live in Texas, the coastal bend of Texas, so I'm near a beach, which is wonderful. And this was my first time attending the National Parkinson's Policy Forum, Parkinson's Disease Policy Forum. There we go.
Nice, very nice.
I think I got them all.
You got them all. Okay, on to George.
My name is Dr. George Ackerman, but before we talk about me, because it's really about all of you, it's really a moment I'll never forget meeting all of you. It's really touching. It's the reason I went again. So it's my second time. And we welcome the animals here in the show. But even, Mark, Amy, Tracy, you've all been family to me. I wouldn't be able to really make it. Most days, unfortunately, I lost my mother due to Parkinson's disease. So we started a website, which I thought we'd have a few people see, and I would have been happy with, but we've had over 70,000 people visit togetherforsharon.com. Really just there to share journeys. Awesome. But in a selfish way, it helps me still grieve, because even though it's been 6 years since I lost my mother and best friend, it's not a day. Even last night, I didn't sleep just thinking what the, according to Darren, what the F happened. So I just don't want anyone else out there to have to go through what my mother, our family has. And as you all know, as I said in person, and it doesn't matter online or at home, I will not literally rest until all of you and everyone listening too doesn't have to fight this anymore. I'm in Florida. Not thrilled with the Florida representation, but that's because, if we have time to talk about it. But I really went personally, and they probably won't want me to say it, but really to meet all of you. That's why I went for a second time, and I'll go back if I'm invited a third, fourth, fifth. Not for the political side, because I get a lot. I'm a lawyer and a cop, and I have a PhD, so I do a lot more in my advocacy and reach these representatives better from home. But I was there to just experience meeting the four of you, and I don't want to start falling apart, but I'm 6'2". Some of you don't know me, I'm a police officer, but when I represent my mother, all of you, it's not easy. And I don't sleep until, and I won't, until none of you, especially people listening, don't have to fight this stuff anymore. Although I'd like to use more Vogel. We were told not to use. I'm from Brooklyn, so.
You're safe, George. Step is a 5-letter word, not a 4-letter word, so you're okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and guys, I just want to say what a delight it was to meet George finally in person. I actually have photographic evidence of this. George actually gave me a kiss on the cheek. Thank you, George, so much.
I whispered to him, "Do not turn, because this is not like they turn." I was kissing him and he turned. He was this close. Thankfully, we missed that moment.
And we got it on film.
I got a kiss on the cheek, George.
Yeah, I didn't either, George. So we know who your favorite is. So.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so Amy, how about you?
I'm so happy to be here, Mark. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Amy Crest, and on Instagram, I am Amy Strong AF, and y'all know what that means. And I am on TikTok and Facebook under Amy Hutchins Crest. I do most of my advocacy on Instagram, but it automatically links to Facebook. But I love TikTok too. It's a great platform. Let's see. I live in North Carolina. I was diagnosed coming up. Darren, you and I were diagnosed the same month. Which is Parkinson's Awareness Month in April.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on my 9th year. I kept my diagnosis private, secret, just to myself, my family, and a network of few close friends for 7 years. Wow. I'm a medical speech language pathologist, and I was afraid to disclose my diagnosis for all the fears of someone diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's disease who's still working, for fear they'll think, oh, she can't do her job, she's cognitively impaired, she might fall, all the things. But when I disclosed, I decided go big or go home. And so I started reaching out to the organization. So I'm a research advocate with the Parkinson's Foundation and done some policy work with the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So this Parkinson's Policy Forum was my first time. And like Tracy, my head is filled and overwhelmed with information, but I was worn out when I came back, but totally worth it. Yeah. I definitely want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely. And just to touch on that too, this was my first Parkinson's Policy Forum. I've wanted to go in the past, never had the chance. This time it worked out, and was so excited to be there. And with that, I want to dive into this a little more. So just to kind of give a general overview before we start discussing, for those that don't know, the Parkinson's Policy Forum is, of course, an opportunity for us to speak to our representatives on Capitol Hill about Parkinson's and our desire and need for support for Parkinson's, both for research and for the policies that are coming through, the legislation's coming through. We ask that they support us and support healthy brains, and do things like ban Paraquat. So the wonderful thing about this Parkinson's Policy Forum was that it was brought together by 4 different organizations, and I felt it was seamless in the way they did it. You had the Michael J. Fox Foundation, the Parkinson's Foundation, ADPA, and the PMD Alliance, all of whom I've worked with and volunteered for. And I had people jumping in and out of my group, and didn't matter who they were with, because we were all there. We had a collective message, 350 people. and we all had a collective message. There was three notes that we were trying to get across. One was we want some funding for research and help with Parkinson's, $600 million annually. Number two is the ban of paraquat, the nasty item that is. And number three was to get on board with the Parkinson's, the National Parkinson's Plan, and to get that up and going, get the committee going, things like that. Those are the three things that we went to, and that's the power of this. 4 organizations, 350 people, all coming with just 3 talking points. So we all have the same message, and I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was wonderful. Anybody got any comments on that?
Yeah, we had to.
Mark, I'm sorry, George. I said the same thing to different leaders in the different organizations, that I could not believe how well organized this was, how seamless it went to not only, and for the people who are listening, if you have Parkinson's, you know what I mean. And if you're a caregiver like George, you know what I mean, what I'm about to say. If you don't have relation to either of those, to get 350 people there who do not have any disease process and organized is one thing. To get 350 people there representing 49 states and DC, caregivers plus the majority of us with Parkinson's disease, I've met somebody who was only diagnosed a few months ago to people that have lived with this 15 plus years. Some people are reliant on scooters or wheelchairs. That's a massive feat, and it was unbelievable.
Yes.
And to add to what Amy said, I just wanted to say how all of you and anyone listening who went are, to me, warriors, because I almost passed out on Tuesday because we were there from 7 a.m. to 7:30 straight, and I had to have someone give me a gator. I almost fell down and passed out, and you're all still fighting strong, so I admire that. The only thing is we had number 4, which was to help support our veterans who have Parkinson. That was a big one that should have been the main point, but a lot of veterans were in everyone's state, so they brought it up, but that was kind of a fourth.
Yeah, that was a big deal, getting the veterans represented. Absolutely. Darren, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, I had a veteran with me, and he brought that up. He introduced himself, and gave his name, and then would say, "I'm a veteran of the retired from the Navy," or whatever it was, and so when we brought up the issue of paraquat, he would also bring up TCE and and the issues that it caused him, even though he's actually still fighting the VA for acknowledgement of his Parkinson's. He's only got 80% disability, and he's had Parkinson's for 20 plus years. And there's no question he was heavily exposed to TCE during his time, his 20 years or whatever it was in the Navy. And so it was nice to kind of have that as another ask, like George was saying. But I think it would be awesome to, maybe next time that be a priority, because as we all know, the VA is a mess right now. It's always kind of been a mess, but it's gotten worse. They've cut back on staffing and funding for the VA as well. And so that's an important thing. Though I never served, my dad was a Vietnam veteran. Unfortunately, he passed away about 10 years ago, but it still means a lot to me, because I know what that did to my dad and how they were treated when they came back. But then also the things that he suffered with up until his death, not only mentally, but physically as well. Because me and my mom are about 99% sure he had Parkinson's before he died in a motorcycle wreck. And so it just because of the things he was dealing with, and so anyway, I just want to say that it was nice to have the veterans speak up, at least the ones that were with me, and obviously they did with George as well.
Yep.
I'd like to share some thoughts just about it initially, but my thoughts are going to come from a little bit different perspective. And that is from like how it was organized and executed. And the reason I have that perspective is because my first career in life was in the hospitality business. And in particular, I worked for Marriott. and I actually did some training at that facility like 25 years ago.
Wow.
At that hotel.
Oh, wow.
Full circle
Yeah,
moment
and
for you.
yeah, right. And I have been like the sales catering, where they meet with like the Fox Foundation and organize that with the organization. Anyway, so I have a little bit different lens, and so I will just address it from that perspective. In that together, the facility and the facilitator they really did a really good job. They took took a lot of effort to take into account the dynamics of what of our Parkinson's and what we brought to it. There was little things that people may not have noticed, but sure they made a difference. So I want to mention that because there may be people out there who are thinking, "There's no way I can't do that." There's no way I could travel. There's no way I could do that. That's just too overwhelming and things like that. But I wanted to put people's minds at ease that it was really well put together. There was always people there from all four of the organizations. If you had questions, problems, concern, they were always there. They were constantly communicating with us, right? We had an app, a couple of apps, and so we constantly had communication on any changes that were made. And so, if you should think about maybe going, but are kind of wondering about the logistics part of it, they've got you covered. We had buses, we had Uber vouchers, so that when or if we needed to go back to our room to rest because we had 3 hours in between appointments, we could, because we had that transportation available. We didn't have to worry about it. So it was kudos to them.
Yeah.
Great job, guys.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say I take issue with one thing, Tracy, and that was when I first got there, it took us about 20 minutes and someone to finally show us how to use those damn elevators.
Elevator.
My second time.
Oh my God.
I knew you were going to say that.
There was
I think I had it. So that was fun. But anyway.
We were showing this very nice young man came and showed us how to do it. And he goes, "It's a millennial thing." And I was like, "Oh, made Gen X feel old, brother."
Yeah.
Well, and for my listeners out there that are wondering about this, the elevators, the elevator was chosen for you. You told the elevator what floor you're getting on, and it would tell you what elevator to go to, and then open up, and there was no button to push on the inside. It was just a backwards thing that if you're on a trip and you got Parkinson's, it's just one more thing to go, huh? So it was.
Yes, it was. And on behalf of the hotel, I will defend them because it was all about security. It was a security measure, 100%. That was a security measure. I mean, I saw that for what it was. Yes, it was frustrating for me, but I appreciated the fact that they had
the many times I actually pressed it and it shut in 3 seconds, like I couldn't even catch it.
I know. Yeah.
Well, and Tracy, to your point, when I was leaving, I left Friday. A lot of people left Thursday, but I stayed till Friday, got to see the Lincoln Memorial and stuff like that. But I was coming back, I was walking around the hotel and I was thinking, I was never at a loss for where things were. So if we were coming down to the breakfast, you get off the elevator and there was somebody there to guide you, like go this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or with the little placards. And if you're going down with the Pennsylvania Avenue level for the shuttle bus, there was people with signs and directing you. And I just love that because you give a group of Parkies some variability and some questions. We're going to fill those questions, right? But they didn't give us a chance. It was like, go that way. So that was really well done. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, to your point, Mark, people with Parkinson's experience executive functioning disorders, and route finding can be a legit real issue. I had that before I had my Parkinson's, but now I'm completely lost. Fortunately, my husband was there with me to kind of guide me. But to Mark's point, it was very well demarcated. And if you were feeling lost, there was someone immediately almost anticipating, as if they knew that people with Parkinson's have an issue with this. So it's a real thing. So they were prepared.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was very well done.
Yeah.
So I have an interesting area at the end maybe we could touch on, because I wanted to let everyone know the differences between the first event and the second time I've been there. There are actually some interesting differences. I'll wait till after your question, Mark.
Oh, no, no worries, George. That's actually something great to cover. I just kind of wanted to
Hmm.
jump into the actual visitation, the meetings, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And with that, I'll preface it by saying this. Um, One of my concerns, of course, was politics, and by that, what I mean is, we're coming there. There's 350 people, so there's going to be a wide range of political views and whatnot. And as I said to my brother before I left, yeah, I'm not going to go there red or blue. I'm going to go there silver. The silver's the color of
Hmm.
Parkinson's awareness, right? And sure enough, when I checked in, somebody got on the elevator, looked at my name badge, which says Arizona, and immediately followed it up with, "Oh, there's too dang many X and Y Z's over there in Arizona, right? Or one, right?"
Yeah.
And then another person came on and was like, "Oh, Arizona, yeah, you guys have so many blah blah blah, right?" And I said to both of them the same thing. I said, this week I'm silver, guys. I'm not red. I'm not blue. And on social media, I don't even really go down that road anyways, because
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. If I'm searching for Parkinson's cures and advocacy, the side of the aisle doesn't matter, right? I want Parkinson's results, right? Which is part of the beauty of this, because it's a diverse group of people all joining together
Hmm.
with one voice, which is the wonderful thing, right? But to that point, we had an opportunity to meet with our House representatives on Tuesday and our Senate representatives on Wednesday. And I was so excited to meet. And what we did, I don't know, and I'll let you guys share your stories in a minute, but what we did was we strategized. So we knew that, like, with the House representatives, like, this guy is a fiscal conservative. So what's going to matter to him is money, right? So we had our money facts ready, right? When we got to Mark Kelly, you got a guy who's an astronaut, but he's also very supportive of veterans, right? So that was a point where we really had veteran information and how that tied into our asks, So we tried to strategize based on what these people, we knew these people's voting history was, and where their bents were, where their tendencies were, and customize it to that. No, whether you're on the side of the aisle or not, that they're going to focus on certain things, and that to me helped us. We had 4 different meetings, of course, 2 House and 2 Senate representatives with Arizona, and I will tell you, all 4 went incredibly well, and by strategizing like that, I think we were speaking their language, and I think that really did help out,
Did they
especially.
show up?
We had one representative that was there. The other 3 were
Staffers?
staffers,
Mhm.
and it was so cute because it was House Rep Grijalva, who just took over for her dad,
Oh,
and so really nice office with hardwood stuff, right? And I'm taking, because it's a nice office, I'm taking a photograph of her team, and as I'm taking a photograph, she walks in the door and goes, "Hey, do you want me to take a picture of all of you guys together?" And we're like, "No, no, we want you in the picture," right? And so we got
Yeah.
a picture of her. She was very, very cool about it. She was actually a
nice.
lot of fun, very lighthearted, and she was complaining about the furniture because that was her dad's furniture, and it was kind of cute because it's kind of like a daughter complaining about her dad's stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
but we knew with her there was probably some things that she wouldn't commit to, which was exactly what we found. As an example, Paraquat, not so much a factor in where she's representing as far as the ranches and stuff go, the farms and stuff go, but she was very supportive of the $600 million ask, especially when we talk about the current cost of Parkinson's care. And then when we brought up the National Parkinson's Plan, she was like, "Well, where are we on that?" We were like, "We were hoping you could tell us." So she was very open to that. But how about you guys? Did you guys have a strategy going in, talking
We
to
have
the reps, or?
I have an actual interesting perspective because we actually met with Gus Bilirakis. So
Oh,
he wasn't there this year. He was last year, but he actually said they did seat the council already, so it should be public soon. So that was pretty interesting. But one aspect, and I'll let everyone else jump in, that I thought was interesting was and I was a little concerned because you don't want to kind of attack these individuals because we're there for asking
Yeah.
things, but we had people with Parkinson's that and caregivers. So the first thing we asked whoever it was, we only had 1 out of 5. U.S. Senator Rick Scott, he was there last year. He was there this year. For some reason, it's out in Florida. He's the only one that chose, which is frustrating, but that's another story. But they actually asked the staffer or representative, did they ever have family with Parkinson's or do they know someone with it? And I think that was important because it kind of it sent the discussion either a good way or kind of a wonder if they'll ever hear from them again way. But I thought it was,
Yeah.
because you have to
Yeah.
be careful. You don't want to, I mean, even when I said it to one of them, I said it, I think, in a tone that, like, so do you know a parking? Like, I didn't mean it mean, but if they don't understand or have a loved one with it, I felt that wasn't as genuine. So I'm just curious, what everyone else thought.
Yeah. We only met with staffers. We didn't get to meet with either House representative or the senator from Texas. Well, there was two, but they ended up doing one meeting on Saturday for Cruz, but he didn't show, and then Cornyn didn't show for our meeting on what was that, Wednesday. Yeah. And I would say we had fairly good response from the reps. I felt like they seemed to care a little better. Sorry. And I also, the meeting with Cornyn's staffer was she acted interested, and I always want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I really had to work on the nonpartisan thing for myself. And just focus on Parkinson's and the overwhelming bipartisan support that the National Parkinson's Project had. And so focusing on that. And then, but anyway, the House reps we met with, or the staffers, were great. They both asked questions. Neither had an affiliation with Parkinson's. The first one did have a relative or family member that had MS, so they knew kind of at least a little bit about movement disorder and the issues it can cause. And she asked some really good questions. She took notes, which I was impressed with. And and one thing that people, and of course they told us about this in training on Monday, but I don't think most people out there in the world that haven't been there and experienced this, is these staffers are low to mid 20s at the most.
Yes.
And so your first thought is, well, okay, good luck, getting through to these people. But I do think that it helped in some ways, because, we were able to tell them, hey, we've met people this week, and I know people out there in the Parkinson's world that have been diagnosed in their 20s. And and when we told her that, the girl with the family with MS, her mouth kind of dropped open, like, oh, wow. I didn't know that it's something that I could possibly, she didn't say it out loud, but you could tell on her face, like, holy shit, that's people my age, Yeah. And so that definitely impacted. That was a good impact. And then our other meeting with the rep, I was happy to see him come out with a full beard. So I felt like, okay, maybe he's a little more experienced in life. But he was great too. He asked a lot of questions. He said that they wouldn't sign the appropriations letter because they're on the appropriations committee already. So it would be like sending a letter to themselves. But they, to you and me, $600 million to ask. And currently, so people know, we're, I think, at $335 million and have been for several years from the NIH. But to you and me, we're going to go ask for an increase of over $200 million, But to them, that's a drop in the bucket of the numbers, the dollar numbers that they deal with and see on a daily basis. So we didn't get any pushback or any like, holy crap, how are you asking for this? But we were able to back it up by statistics, and what it costs the government every year in Parkinson's, and the diagnosis statistics and stuff that, we learned about in training. Some of them I knew, but anyway, he was great. He asked questions. He met with some of the people last year, so he kind of knew what was happening. He took a few notes. I was able, because this was a staffer for my local rep, and I had reached out to my local rep about a month ago asking for help with my disability case, because it had just been sitting, going nowhere for 9 months. And within about 7 or 8 days of that first email, I had a caseworker, a phone number, the whole nine. So now things are moving forward. And I remembered the staffer's name that helped me. So I was able to, hey, please go tell Jeremy that, what he did for me was tremendous. It's got things moving forward.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And he said, oh, Jeremy's great, and he said, one of the things that we know that we do recognize is that the disability process is absolutely ridiculous for people that are needing it. And I was like, yeah, there could be some huge improvements with that process. But anyway, those were good meetings. Our meeting with the staffer from Cornyn, she was nice and friendly. She didn't really take much notes, but she, took the packet and she wasn't really sure where the National Parkinson's Project was as far as being seated. So I'm very happy to hear that someone told you, George, that it has been seated. And so we pushed for the next deadline because we all know they missed the initial deadline of turning in a report on what they were doing.
Yeah.
That's why I go back, because although we don't have the time to talk about, I've been there last year, this year, similar people. I have like literal letters thanking them all when I get home to send already, but I only hear crickets. But I feel that when we're all together collectively in the whole building, it's the most incredible, inspirational. I feel like the Muppet Show theme song, because really, I think it does make movement. I have a show which some of you might not know called the Parkinson Policy Podcast, and with Margaret Preston. She's the president of Power Over Parkinson, and we literally contact every single U.S. senator. We hear a lot of crickets. We don't seem to get the response we want. But as I said, whether I don't have a great experience because of my legislature, even my own local one will not give me 5 minutes for Parkinson. So it's very frustrating. But then when I hear all your stories and other incredible outcomes, that make me definitely have hope. So I want to thank all of you too for the work you're doing.
Thanks, George.
Absolutely. Thanks, George.
Yeah, I'll go next.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darren.
No, you're good. I'm done for now.
So my meetings, I had 3 with representatives, the 2 with the senators. We met with my person first, my representative first. I was the only constituent, my first time. And I'll just share kind of a couple of highlights from my meetings. First off is the gal in that office. It was a staffer, and she said that we immediately thanked her for her time, and she said, absolutely. She said, because this meeting was actually assigned to somebody else in the office. She said, but I insisted on taking it because her grandfather had Parkinson's. And she said, I spoke up and I said, no, I'm taking this meeting. Right. So she took lots of notes, very poker face, almost no questions. But the most memorable thing was that it ended up we weren't in a conference room. We were more like in just a little sitting room, like a little living room kind of place. And I was opposite. There was about 10 of us in the room, and I was opposite from the gal. And I had asked to speak last. And when it came my time to speak, I thought, oh my gosh, she's way over there. She was probably a good 25 feet from me. And I thought, how can I have a conversation with this woman if she's so far away? So I asked somebody in the group to switch places with me, which was I'm like, oh, did I just break protocol here? But just from the look on their face, I didn't care. I didn't care. Yeah. And so I just sat down with her. I said, hey, in the beginning, you said something about your grandpa. Tell me about your grandpa. And I blocked everybody else out in the room. And I just had a conversation with her. And that is awesome. It just so happens that there's a gal, and knowing her from TikTok, she's also from Colorado. She's a young mom. And she also is a constituent in our representatives district, right? And so this was Tuesday we met with them, right? On Saturday night before I left, I got a text from her. And she has a 16-year-old daughter who has been ill for a couple of years. They know it stems from a neurological thing. They've been trying to figure this out. They had her diagnosed as one thing. Well, Saturday night, she broke the news to us and said they've changed the diagnosis. It is young onset Parkinson's. There's a genetic component with this and everything. So here's mom, right? She may be 40 at most. I'm not sure she's 40, and her 16-year-old daughter. And that's a whole different story I would love to share with folks later, but that was real time. I was texting her as we were walking in the door, right? I didn't tell them my story. I told them her story. And I framed it I framed it, and Darren, you said, everybody's like early 20s, right? And I framed it in this conversation. I said, do you mind me asking how old you are? I'm 23. And I said, well, let me tell you about a constituent in the district. And I told her the story.
That's
And
perfect.
the look on
Wow.
her face, right, was she broke her poker face for the first time during the meeting, So that was very memorable. We had, and all of us kind of went like that, kind of the poker face, a couple notes,
Mhm.
notes taken. We did have a hallway visit, right? One of them we had a half hour with them. Things got changed. It kind of got derailed. And we met in the hallway for like 15 minutes. So you do have to be ready to pivot on the fly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the training, we've talked about the training a little bit. The training prepared us for that. And I was so grateful for that.
Yes.
But what happened with me on Wednesday when we went to see the senators is we all together went as a group to see the first senator, and that went really well. And then there was a man from Colorado who had been there. So this was his second time. He'd also been there in September, and neither his representative did not accept an appointment either time. And he was miffed and he was pissed and he was, hey, I've come twice and my guy has never responded. And so he talked to and I don't know if they were called, but we had I called him our capital guide, our person who kind of helped lead us around. Our guy's name was Patrick. He was wonderful. We loved him. And so he asked Patrick, well, what can I do? He said, why don't you take a packet and if you have time, go to his office and see if you can just drop it off. And if you're lucky, you might have a 5-minute conversation with somebody. So I said, okay, hey, you know what? I'll go with you. I'm not a constituent of the man's, but I was in his district and I own real estate in his district. So I felt I had a little bit of skin in the game and I was not going to leave this guy high and dry to go by himself. So we went over to we skipped the second senator and went to this guy's office. Best decision ever. We got in we just happened to get there between groups. The staffer we were giving him that packet. We were giving him our 2-minute elevator speech. And right then another person came in, and it was right when Mike was saying something about, hey, this is twice I've been here. We've not been able to schedule with you. And the gal said, oh, scheduling. I'm the scheduler. And that's the person you want to make friends with, right? Well, that scheduler also happened to be the assistant chief of staff. And so long story short, we got about 10 minutes in front of him. I told the story of my friend and her daughter, and this staffer, not the one that was, originally there with us, that young man was 21, and he started tearing up while I was talking about this. I thought, oh my, he might have like a sibling. At 21, he very well could have a little sister or brother who's 16 at home, right? But it impacted him. And by the time Mike got to the airport that afternoon, a couple hours later, he has an appointment this week in district with the in district staffer, and I'm gonna go down.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's so neat.
So you never know what you just. One of the things they said was, just kind of go with your gut and be memorable. Well, I think we were memorable.
Yeah, definitely.
With our, so
I guess,
that's awesome.
Oh, sorry,
Amy, you got.
So ours was unique. I was the only person in the group that has Parkinson's. We had to have a small group. Our team leader was actually affiliated with the PSP group, so we had someone kind of talking about PSP, the atypical Parkinsonism, and then another person was affiliated with the Fox Foundation, but her mother also has Lewy body dementia. So that was represented. And one of my friends who works for the Parkinson's Foundation Carolina chapters, she was really, she was fantastic hitting home about Black and Brown communities that are underrepresented. And my husband was there, and he thought he was just going to be my Uber driver. Little did he know he would also be talking as well, and he did amazing. He presented it as his point as a caregiver we met with three staffers for the House of Reps, and then one senator, all staffers. Our other North Carolina senator, Tom Tillis, he is retiring, so he was not, he wasn't going to be there. So, but we did go in with, we had a plan, and we decided that I would be the last one to speak, since I was the only one with Parkinson's. And I tell you, my husband did such a great job talking about being a caregiver, and the people, none of the staffers knew that I was David's wife, or that I had Parkinson's until the end. So David, it was very moving, and definitely came from the heart, was not prepared, just him, how he is, fantastic. And then, I said, well, I'm that person with Parkinson's, I'm his wife. And every time they got to me, I cried. So my whole spiel, I cried the entire time, basically. And yes, that did touch the staffers, because they all were, you could tell, trying not to well up. But and I also, I said I'm a medical speech language pathologist, so I got to share a clinical standpoint of, I know what's coming my way, because I'm working with people that are much further down the line from me. So we kind of hit it from all different angles. They took out their pad, and they wrote at, we thought, the appropriate times, highlighting what we said. And we did change. We are 4 for 4. We changed the poker faces to, melting kind of humans. And and I felt like we made an impact. Yeah,
good
for
stuff.
sure.
So, Tracy, you mentioned the scheduler. I'll share this, and then after this, I'd like to dive into get each one of your favorite moments of this trip. But first, about the scheduler. So we were talking to Mark Kelly's staff member, who is very gregarious, very outgoing. We actually had a lot of fun with her, and true to form, had to throw in a couple jokes. They told her that Mark comes bringing the comedy relief, which I said that's probably not a good thing. But so we were chatting there, and I did say to her, I want a new drug, one that won't make me sick. And then I started of course, I went into the Huey Lewis thing, right?
Yeah.
And she
yep.
and to that point, if you do it with staffers too young, they wouldn't get it, but she caught it. She's like, okay, that's good, right?
Oh, nice.
And then I threw a joke out to her. I was like, so why did the baker have to go rob a bank? And she was like, I don't know. I said, because he was needing some dough. So, yeah. So, when I say needing, it's KNEADING, by the way. So,
easy laugh. So if you ever have any dad jokes and you want somebody to laugh, I'm your girl.
Thank you.
But that was
thank you. I'll always laugh at dad jokes too. So yeah.
But she, one of our members brought up the meeting in September with Layla Ali. Now out here in Phoenix, we have the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center, and Layla Ali was attending last time. And when he brought her up, the staff member was like, "Oh, yes, I was in that meeting in September." So it totally tripped the memory from her. And she's like, "Yeah, and we talked about that whole Parkinson's plan. Where do we stand on that?" We're like, "Well, we were hoping that you could help us get that going, because it's kind of stalled." So it was so good, because she acknowledged the fact that it was a problem in September, and she's like, "Where are we?" And we told her there's been no progress since. So she was like, "Okay, got it. We are definitely committing to getting that, doing what we can to get that moving forward," which was great. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But the other thing I mentioned, being here in Phoenix, I mentioned to our representatives that the World Parkinson's Congress is going to be held in Phoenix in May, and that's not a national thing, that is a world thing. A lot of eyes on Phoenix. So your constituents are gathering together, but it might be a good thing for the representative to have that in mind, right? Well, I said that again in Mark Kelly's appointment, and our staff member said, "You know what? I'm going to get you the contact information for the scheduler. Let's see if we can
Love
get
that.
an appearance from him at the WPC. I was like,
Oh,
right on. So I got the scheduler's contact
Nice.
information. I had a call with Eli from the World Parkinson's Congress the other day, and I said, Eli, I got a number for you. She's like, right on. And come to find out that there's already a senator that may be there on another night. So just really cool, because that's going to tie in for the World Parkinson's Congress. For those that don't know, it is the world's biggest gathering together to fight Parkinson's. And it's actually the only event of its kind for a major illness like this. So it's an amazing thing that's coming up. And I just thought that was so cool, because they told us beforehand the scheduler is the keeper of the keys. And so when I got the scheduler's information, I was like, right on. So I just thought
yep.
that was really cool. I'd like to share that.
That is
I want to follow up one other thing with that. Our local rep, Andy, the guy that was with me, and his wife, his care partner, they run the support group here in Corpus, and he with our actual that we're constituents of, our rep, he asked, he said, hey, we'd love to invite the representative to come check out our Rock Steady boxing program, or even a support group meeting if he happens to be in town. We'd love to. And the guy looked at me, he said, you know what, he said, I'm going to give you our card to our scheduler. And he said it cuts out the middleman. It's much quicker. And that was really nice of him to do that. I thought, because he could have easily, just reach out to me and I'll pass it on to our scheduler. But he said, he goes, let's just cut out the middleman so you can just work on that directly. And it was
awesome.
really nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
And that goes to their point that, when we were learning on Monday that, and for any of your viewers, Mark, that did not go, you do not have to go to the forum to advocate for policy. And this was motivating, and it got us all fired up, but that's just the start. Like the policy needs to be ongoing. Like Darren said, you're reach out to them, invite them to your different support groups, or show up on their door. I live near the Capitol, so I literally can go to Raleigh, and that's kind of easy, but this is just the beginning of, and I feel like we're on the cusp of something big.
Right.
The cusp of, it's happening. Like the research is moving forward. We're just so close. I think in our lifetime that it'd be great to at least have a disease modifying for us, since we already have it, but I want people to give up. Just keep being noisy.
That is going to trigger this week's edition of Mark My Words. Okay, because that is so profound. Because again, you do not have to be at this conference or at this forum to be making a difference. Absolutely. And for those that are hearing this, you did not go to the Parkinson's Policy Forum. That's okay. Get in touch with your representatives and tell them you want to back these things. You want to back the National Parkinson's Plan. You want to see Paraquat banned. You want to see $600 million at least annually in research funding. You do not have to go to make that impact. That is a tremendous point. That is my Mark My Words for this week. Thank you, because that is so powerful. But also another thing that I just kind of tying into that, when I was there, I had my coat on. I did dress up, dress shirt and coat, right? But they couldn't see it. But I have the tattoo on my arm, right?
Yay!
And it's the International Parkinson symbol. Below that is my diagnosis date. And I was telling the representatives below that, I've got a space open for my cure date. Because to your point, Amy, there is no cure currently, right? And when I got this tattoo, the tattoo artist, I told him, I said, below that's my diagnosis date, but I want a space below that for my cure date. And he goes, there's a cure for Parkinson's? I said, no, not yet, but I'm an optimist, and I believe in my lifetime there will be. And he goes, dude, my grandfather has Parkinson's. He's the one that taught me how to rebuild engines. He's my hero, man. I tell you what, you're going to be a repeat customer. You're going to come back. We're going to get that cure date on there, man. He was all pumped up. We're high-fiving. It was just awesome, right? And so I was telling our representatives this story about my tattoo artist, right? And they just got so pumped up because it's something that everybody connects with. It's like, okay, so you don't have Parkinson's, but your grandfather does, right? And how we feel optimistic that there is something coming. To your point, Amy, I don't know when, but I am optimistic. I really and truly am. So thank you so much for that. That is great. You don't have to go to the Parkinson's Policy Forum to make a difference. And guys, get out there, and there's a connection with people with Parkinson's. Let's get out there and connect with people and get those stories going. So with
Mark,
that,
that
I
was
know
so
we're
good. That story almost makes me cry. I'm very tenderhearted, but that touched me very much.
I know
Well,
when you told me that story at the Parkinson's Policy, I almost teared up. But I just thought, man, that is so badass, because I will admit I am a bit of a skeptic on a lot of things, and especially, you know, I was very skeptical about the Parkinson's Policy Forum last year, and I voiced that.
Yeah.
And you know, and fortunately got to talk with some people when they came back, and I felt a little better about it. But so to have that optimism, and then, you know, and then once I got done with this and back home, it was rejuvenating for my advocacy, because I had hit a wall in late December where I was like, what am I doing? This is pointless. You know, I don't get much activity. I don't, you know, I was just like, why am I doing this? You know, and I struggled with that for a good solid month and a half, where I wasn't putting out any content or really anything. And so but back to your point about, you know, hey, you don't have to go to this to be active. And we had our support group meeting yesterday, and that's what I shared with everybody. And it was kind of funny, because it is all older people there, older than me, I guess, in the group. And one lady, she was so cute. She's like, well, how often should we email? And I said, you know, I would probably say twice a month may not be a bad goal to shoot for. I said, we don't want to annoy them, but at the same time, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And so, you know, I said, why don't you set a goal for twice a month, just firing off a letter about, and, you know, and we had this here, you know, that showed our 3 asks. And so we encouraged everybody to take a picture of that with their cell phone, so they would have that information when they were to follow up with their reps or senators and stuff. So it's so key. That's so key. This means nothing if we don't continue. We can't wait till next March to find out what's going on.
I'd like to start off your final question. Unfortunately, I have to go back to work. As many of you might not know, I work 24/7, but the big thing for me with this was I don't go a lot of traveling, because, again, I'm a professor, so I have to, even tonight, I'll be up all night working, but I didn't want to miss this, because it's a time that, for me, I went to meet all of you. So the people in this call, and many of you out there, I've been waiting, you know, probably 4 or 5. Mark has been a close friend. We text probably every day, and I never had the opportunity to give him a hug. And that's really why I would go back. As far as the politics, it really wasn't what I wanted. And it's second time, same. Just a quick note. It was interesting, because this time around, they had a networking on Monday night, which was a thing that we asked for, because we didn't have as much time. If we all met last year, we wouldn't have even seen each other except a wave in the hall. So that was one aspect that I actually loved. One odd thing, which I was kind of interested in, I don't know the reason, but the Tuesday night event at 5 to 7, last year we had the entire sponsors of the bill there, and this year we had no one. So I'm kind of curious, we won't have an answer what happened, which was nice, because you had more time to talk. But we had every single congressman, senator, like, from the bill there. And I feel it was a shame, because I wanted all of you to meet them too. They ran in and out, but I got a picture, I got to meet them and talk. So that was one interesting thing. And then I'm sad I missed the Capitol picture, because I didn't know about it till it was too late. And that was one area I wish next year I'd like to be, because I saw everyone was so having fun, even though you're freezing. My last thing is I want to thank my wife. Unfortunately, last year I missed part of the first day due to travel. It's like Fort Lauderdale, Florida doesn't want me to be in DC. This year it was 6-hour delay, but my wife was supposed to join us, and her whole flight was canceled. So that was kind of heartbreaking. But I do want to thank someone named Lisa, who is one of our in our group for Florida, and she actually read my wife's speech in one of the meetings, which meant a lot.
Oh, nice.
Even though she couldn't be there, she also sends her love to all of you. And there's many days where my family's a little upset because I'm out advocating when I'm not with my kids. But my mother, if you met her, she would joke that she'd be like, George, don't do all this advocating, be with your family. But none of them ever raised me to give up until they listen. And if we all have to go with every state, well, 350 to a million people at Capitol Hill, I feel that together our voice is so much stronger, and we do make a difference. Whether I have might be frustrating people or someone in Texas doesn't, I feel that building is rocking literally with advocates, and it's just a beautiful moment, and one that I'll never forget. And just it's gonna take me 3 years to post all the pictures. So you'll see all yourselves, and I'm really honored to be with you, Mark, again, and with all of you. You've all been family to me. I continue to fight for you and love you all.
So George, I know
love
you need
too,
to leave.
George.
I know you need to leave. We love you back. And also, Darren, to your point about persistence, George is the king of persistence. So, George, thank you so much for joining. I know you have to go because you're so busy. But thank you so much.
A few more minutes. I like hearing everyone. Just like 5 more minutes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Also, please thank your wife, because she is amazing, and for what she does in supporting you for the support of this. That's great. So we're going to go into the Get to the Chopper session now.
Get to the chopper!
And because we are running a little long in time, what we're going to do to Get to the Chopper message this time is, what is your favorite thing from this Parkinson's Policy Forum, and why was it your favorite? And we'll go around the horn here. So whoever wants to speak up first. But you'll see there's a graphic. This is Get to the Chopper. There you go.
I'll go first.
Okay.
All right, Amy.
Okay. My favorite thing was getting to hug you guys and like getting to see you in person. I mean, I feel like you guys are family, and I know you through our conversations and social media, but man, to actually be able to talk to you guys face to face, just, and break bread with you. Mark and I had breakfast together. Darren was right there when David and I walked in on Monday. George, you were right there. Tracy, we didn't get to connect, but that just meant the world to me. Like, I love that so much.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is, it's great.
Next. Who's next?
I can go next. It's hard for me to nail down one specific favorite, but I'm going to throw two just because. And this is a fairly quick one. When the training Tuesday, they armed us with some great knowledge that I didn't have, some great statistics, and we were able to use that a couple times in our first meeting with one of the reps from the Houston area. We were able to bring up paraquat, and she asked, she said, well, what happens if we ban paraquat? What happens with our produce and that kind of stuff? And so we were able to tell her, well, the 70 countries that have banned paraquat, they outproduce us. So there's alternatives, there's better options out there, and there's no reason to have paraquat out in the public. So that was kind of cool because she kind of pushed it and asked the questions. But my second favorite, it's probably my most favorite, is the time meeting you guys in person and getting to chat and talk and hang out. And I, got the opportunity to meet several other people with young onset Parkinson's that are not social media. Maybe their partners are. And, and like your husband, Mark, I absolutely adore him. He would, if Amy's playing one of my videos, he'll go, "Oh, is that punk rock?" And that was kind of neat to hear. But it was also kind of weird because I did have a couple people come up that I didn't even know, and they're like, "Oh, you're punk rock," and I was like, "Yes, I am." It just felt awkward to me because I don't, I'm not doing this for the publicity. I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it to get shit out there so that we can get this moving forward. And but just the social time that we had together, even whether it was at breakfast, but that Monday evening was just an absolute blast. And getting to actually meet in person, Jimmy Choi, who is a hero to all of us, I know. And I appreciate him and how real, genuine he is. And I when I first saw him, there's a little bit of fangirling going on, or fanboying or whatever. But once he saw me, because I was kind of waiting for him to quit talking to people and just go up and shake his hand, and he's like, "Oh my God, you do exist in real life," and and got a couple pictures with him and that kind of stuff. So it was I would say the hanging out with y'all and meeting people, and there's just something about our community that's special, and that was hands down my favorite part. So I'm glad that you pushed for that, George.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get in Tracy's way, but for me, being able to, kiss Mark and then hug Darren, see how strong and tall Amy is. She's taller than me. And then finally, even at the last minute, Tracy and I got knee to knee to be able to spend some time together. So I'm lucky. Lucky I got a lot of time with all of you, plus everyone listening. But, I'm already ready for the next time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And last thing is actually something exciting I probably shouldn't announce, but I've been in talks with Michael J. Fox, and we might be bringing this to Florida. So we might head to Tallahassee with our group and make this a Florida thing too, because Florida is shockingly one of the biggest populations of Parkinson's, and there's nothing here. No one doing anything. It's really frightening, except one of the 5 representatives, only one even met us, and I don't understand Florida. So if we have to stand out there at Capitol here and scream from the top of our lungs, we'll need Amy to come dance. We'll need you to take a megaphone curse. We'll need Mark to bring the park, and we need Tracy to bring her amazing passion. So love you all.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of the Capitol video, Amy. Are you dancing? I want to be in that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that.
My sneaky passion. Yep, I'll be there. Yeah, I'm with you. I will agree 100%. You guys meeting people was it. But in our training, our capital people, right, when they were training us, were telling us some of these things, right? If you can meet with a scheduler and these kind of things. But then he said something about, now, if you're really lucky, if you have a tight schedule, short time between appointments, if you're really lucky, you might get an intern to take you on the capital train. We got to go on the capital train. I think my group was the only one who got to go on the capital train.
I didn't even know there.
I saw that video you posted. Yeah, it goes under the Capitol building.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So I got it, and I was like, "Do you guys think it's legal if I video?" And I'm like, "I don't give a shit."
Yeah.
And thank you for that, because you let us come with you.
Yeah, I love that video.
The only other thing that topped it was Monday night. I walked in the bar restaurant thing to order dinner, and I hear, "Hey, Snarky Mommy's in the house." Thanks, Mark.
Yes.
No worries. I to what you guys are saying, I experienced this at the World Parkinson's Congress in Barcelona, like a gathering of people with Parkinson's, like online, meeting for the first time. And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. And to your point, Darren, I was fanboying about everybody in Barcelona, and I knew I would be here in DC. And Amy, I just got to say, you are one fit person. You are what I was like, oh man, there's not an ounce of fat on you, man. Give you a hug. It's like, wow. But to your point, Darren, about Jimmy Choi, and I did a post about this the other day, but I've always wanted to meet him too. And again, kind of fanboying over him, not just about the Parkinson's advocacy, but he's also a loving dad, and he's posted a lot about his daughter's ability in softball and stuff. I just admired the guy for being so busy and just being a guy, right?
Yeah.
So I go up to go talk to him, but this is in the afternoon break when all the snacks are out. So I conveniently grabbed a couple bags of chips for the hotel room that night. And I go up to get my photo taken with Jimmy. I'm like, really, the chips, and I was like hemming and hawing. He's like, yeah, man, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. But because it's like, come on, it's Jimmy Choi, right? And so I posted that, and in the comment field, he goes, hey, don't worry about it. Convention food doesn't have any calories anyway, so it's all good, man. So there you go. So
that's great.
Just
I agree with him.
But I'll kind of wrap up with this, and I'm going to try not to get too emotional here, but the support that I've had from the online Parkinson's community has truly been one thing that has helped me through. For those that have listened to my story, you might have heard that early on I had no support around me. It was the online community that really rallied to me, and I'm still at the point where if I take too many days away from online, or if I don't post for a while, I'll get a direct message. You doing okay, Mark? What's going on? That kind of stuff. And I love that. And the chance to meet in person, which is, hey, Starkey mommy's in the house, or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. And there is a true beating of my heart when the Parkinson's community gets together. And I mean, I try and stick it out as long as I can, but I start to fade. I start to get tired and droopy. But as long as I can stay awake, I want to hang out with you guys, because it is the
Yes.
synergy, the energy, and the understanding that we all have of this shared battle is something that can't be replaced. So this
Mhm.
community is so supportive and so wonderful. I love you guys. Love you all so much. And this was just
Yes.
a life-changing experience for me. And again, I'm getting goosebumps, and I don't mean that lightly. Just
No,
to be
I
able
agree
to,
with you.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
100%.
fantastic. So,
Mhm.
You're trying to make me
guys,
cry, Mark.
Uh-huh.
it's just me trying to be authentic, because
It's real.
one thing
You're, yeah.
Parkinson's has taught me is no time for the BS. Let's be real, guys. And so
Yep.
Yeah.
with that,
Same.
I'm going to wrap up this episode and say, guys, thank you so much for being on today, and so much for representing so well in Washington, D.C. I know you guys are family to me, and I just can't thank you enough for being on today's episode, season 2, episode 1 of the podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you, guys.
Yes. No, thank you. Love y'all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
so with that, to my listeners, guys, as always, just remember, life is not about a destination. Life is about the journey. So, guys, get out there and keep exploring. Take care, and God bless, guys. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Mark in the Park, the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and leave a review. Your support helps more people discover the show. For show notes, updates, and future episodes, or to connect, head over to markinthepark21.com. Got a guest idea or a topic suggestion? Drop me a line at markintheparkpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And to all my listeners, this is Mark Milow reminding you, life is as much about the journey as the destination. So enjoy the sights and sounds along the way. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep exploring.